Tall Beans, I hope you are all well. Yes, I'm back with this setup, microphone and all, just because I'm going to be talking about my height and I just thought it justified being in around my plants. And so here we are. Yes, I am back with another video. Am I feeling okay? I'm not sure. Well, as you can hear, I'm not because I still have my cold. But it's getting better. The throat is cleared up. The runny nose is a little less, and there's a lot less mucus. You're welcome for that word again. So yes, we're feeling better, we're on the up, and that is why I thought it was the right time to do this video. I'm in a better, positive headspace. I'm 6'2". There's no hiding it, I talk about it a lot. My flatmate, her friends came over the other day, and every time Katie has told them that she lives with a very tall girl, they never ever believe how tall until they see me, and then behind my back all I get is oh my god, you weren't joking, she was tall. So my whole life I've never entered a room in which I never get the familiar phrases of oh my god, you weren't lying, you were tall, oh my god, I can't believe you're that tall, how tall are you? You know, so people have just started at work and they say hello and then they go, can I ask you a question? And I already know what they're about to say, so oftentimes I go, I'm 6'2", and then I just sort of walk off because I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't have time to talk about how in awe you are about a girl being at 6'2". Sometimes it has a negative impact on me when it comes to trying to find clothes, when it comes to dating, when it comes to just genuine like mental health. A lot of the time if I'm really in a negative headspace, I often sort of blame my height. I'm like, oh, if I wasn't 6'2", I wouldn't have these problems, blah blah blah, which is all a load of to be honest with you. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like my height has got absolutely nothing to do with it, but because I have that negative connotation per se ish with my height, a lot of times if I'm in a negative headspace it comes up, and 9 times out of 10 if I don't feel sexy or good, you know, I'm like, oh, I look like the man in drag that a guy has once told me before. That's for another story time, just saying. But yeah, it's taken me many years and a very large amount of tears to learn to love my height. My height never really got to me. It wasn't until it was kind of year 8, year 9 where people would point it out a lot more. When it gets pointed out more and more, it's kind of like you're sort of like picking the scab, or you're sort of like chipping away at this one continuous thing, and after a while the repetitiveness becomes really, really fucking annoying. 9 times out of 10 I'm always going to be the tallest person, but I think, like I said in my like I'm sorry video, is that it's something that affects me and it's something only I can mentally deal with. And like I said, it's frustrating because I get so sick and tired of not being confident or having like spouts of confidence about something that I cannot change. And that's not to say like I still am really insecure about it now. I am 100% so much better with accepting my height for what it is. Although I do get spouts of a lack of confidence with my height, I'm so much better, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't change it. Well, that's a lie. If I could be like 5'11", I'd be really super happy, because then I could find trousers that fit. Do you know what I mean? Because trying to find trousers is a bloody ball ache, but I digress. The reason I started this channel was because I really wanted to let other tall girls know it's okay. Whether you're growing up and you're extremely tall, there's always going to be people that understand how you feel, and it's so important to love yourself. It's so important to love yourself, because if you love yourself and you are confident, it doesn't matter what comes your way. That's not to say that we don't all have struggles. It's not to say that we all don't have lapses of difficulty and insecurity, because we're human. It happens. If you're having a bad day, anything can become negative. But it's so important to be confident in your height, hold your head high, put your shoulders back, embrace it, because do you know what? You stand out, and you stand out for the right reasons. You stand out because you are stunning. You stand out because you are confident. You stand out because you are gorgeous. And it's so important. When I started to become conscious about my height, it had such a negative impact on a lot of things around me. It had an impact on how I saw myself. It had an impact on my relationship with my family. It had a negative impact on my friendship groups. And obviously it had a negative impact on, you know, dating and stuff like that. When I realised that, one, I can't do anything about it. Two, I've stopped growing, hallelujah. I realised that actually, in the big scheme of things and in life, it's not the end of the world. Becoming confident sort of has a completely different spin and appeal, and being confident in your height and holding your head like tall, people want to be around you, people want to speak to you, and you know, you don't have to talk to them. If you're antisocial, then you do you. After you sort of become confident in your height, you can pull anything off, any type of clothing, you know, any attitude, any persona, and just mentally it just has such a better impact on you. And it's so important to love yourself, because you're always going to be there for you if no one else is. Anyway, with that, I've decided with these height related videos that I am going to kind of separate them into like 4 categories. So about personal attitude, so about, you know, embracing the height. Obviously I've already started, but the next one being clothes and shoes, so sort of discussing that, going through shopping channels that I tend to purchase from, clothes that I tend to buy from, my struggles with buying clothes, my struggles with locating really cute clothes, you know, all of that sort of stuff that I've already started to do, but I kind of want to do it better. And dating, that's going to be another one. Dating as a 6'2" girl who will date someone about 6'3" plus, and the struggles of that, as well as having to deal with men and their short man syndromes, because God knows I've had many of those. And friends, because friends also has an impact on who we're around, and it's like everything really. If someone's going to put you down, you don't want to be around them. And I've had people that have put me down in front of people because of my height, and you know what, they're not in my life anymore. So yeah, that's how I want to do these type of videos. So for this one, I'm just going to kind of do, like I said, do it as an introduction, do it as what I want to talk about. So I've always stood out, whether it's because of my height, whether it's because I've got quite like a tomboyish personality. Well, I did growing up, and now I don't even know what category I'd put into. To be honest with you, I'm one of those people, if I could have someone like a personal shopper to just tell me to put these clothes on, like I would just love to be like a human mannequin. That'd be sick. I'd just be like, yeah, just dress me. Like, let's experiment. Let's try different thing. Go for it. Let's do it. Like, I would literally adore that so much. So yeah, whether it's about like the clothes that I've put together, the very weird combinations I've put together, or I stood out for liking rock indie music, or like international pop music. Like, I listened to a lot of Spanish music growing up, but I always liked things that not many people at the time did. And then now, the more and more people I meet about my age, and they went through the same thing, I'm like, where were you in my life? Honestly, like, listening to punk music, wearing, you know, coloured beads and all this, wearing Vans and shit. Like, where were you? Why was I made to feel so, like, socially awkward, as well as being stupidly tall, so I just look like a idiot. But anyway, so yeah, I've always stood out, and potentially it's not for the right reasons. Like, I was talking to a girl at work, and she sort of went, oh, you're really intimidating. And I was like, am I? Like, I don't try to be. Like, I think I'm quite like a nice person. But then the more and more I thought about it, I realised that actually I sort of sometimes talk at people because I'd rather them talk about the things that I've said versus the first thing they're going to know is my height. So I think I've learned my coping mechanism is to talk a lot, and therefore people won't take notice of my height, or if they do, they don't say it to my face. Like, I can't describe it. I can't explain it. But anyway, so I asked this girl, I was like, what is it about me that you find intimidating? And she couldn't answer me. She couldn't tell me. She didn't know. Anyway, I ended up speaking to a really like close friend of mine, and he turned around and said, well, one, you're quite loud, and two, you like tower over people, so it can be quite intimidating. I was like, are you f***ing kidding me? So I'd just be really curious if a social experiment, if like there was some magic to make me shorter, I wonder whether people would find me intimidating. So anyway, at 15, the rise of social media really came into play. Facebook became like a thing, and because of that, you sort of started to hear other people's problems, or you started to compare yourself to your friends when they're getting tagged in posts, and you know they're stunning in the pictures. They can take gorgeous pictures. I mean, they were gorgeous people to begin with. I have to admit, my friendship group, they were bloody beautiful. But the rise of social media just had an impact on, yeah, I'm gonna say me. It had an impact on me because the comparisons started, and it became a lot more. I became a lot more conscious of my height when looking at pictures, and you know, all my friends are average here and I'm like up here because for some reason I'm always friends with really short people. Sorry, Katie, I love you. So from the age of 15, I think that's when I really became conscious about my height and really started to gain a negative connotation with my height at that time. And to be honest with you, it wasn't until I got my first boyfriend at 18 that I really grew in confidence. And like, if anyone knew my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend, he was a dickhead, like a complete arsehole. You know, no one really liked him. I ended up falling out with my school friends mainly because of him, because he was an arsehole. But underneath it, he was a sensitive soul, I'll give him that. But he helped me to gain confidence in areas that I never thought I would gain confidence in. That was my introduction. That was my go-to talk about what I will be talking about my height. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, I'm going to be putting a poll out on Instagram. If you're not followed me, then follow me here. I'll leave what my @ is, and down in the description I've left a link, so it will take you straight there. But if you guys have any questions regarding what should I do my next conversation about, I might do it about dating. Why not? I haven't touched on that subject on my channel just yet. I think I have discussed clothing, and there is a video coming up soon about clothing. It's actually quite a cool one. I bought some clothes from a new company that I haven't bought from before, and they're a Korean brand. Well, they're an American. Do you know what? I'll explain it in the video, but yes. So I've got a clothing video coming out, so maybe let's talk about dating. I haven't done that. So if anyone watching this video and has lasted this long, I thank you all for whoever's stayed and watched this. But if there is any questions regarding dating that you would like to know, then please do leave it down in the comments. And while you're down there, if you like this video / podcasty type talky thing, then please do let me know, and also like the video. I'd really appreciate that. And while you're down there, if you're feeling very generous, I would really appreciate it if you could press the subscribe button. And yeah, so thank you guys. That was my introduction about my height. It sounds a bit silly, but I hope you are all well, and I will see you guys soon. Bye! Every time. Oh, come on.